Hello and welcome to a video covering recent news including the proposed nerfs to Animate Dead and the fractured staff of Armadyl. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax and enjoy. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Let's get started. The dreaded Animate Dead and FSOA nerf. Well, you know what? It isn't actually as bad as I thought. Let's start with the Animate Dead nerf. In its current state, Animate Dead is unfortunately just performing too well with very little downside according to Jagex. It's an incredibly effective way of reducing damage and creates a scenario where a lot of low damage hits can no longer threaten players. While they do understand that Animate Dead has allowed players to ease into PvM, especially mid-tier bossing, they think it's overperforming and thus, they're going to make, I quote, a conservative change to Animate Dead. These changes are the spell not being able to reduce damage by more than 60% instead of the current 75%. Damage reduction being based on 25% of your defense level instead of 33%, which happens to be a 25% decrease, although the 10% of your armor bonus value being unchanged because otherwise it would be listed. So that seems like a, well, reasonable adjustment. And it will only work on core damage and no longer reduce typeless damage. Now, Jagex was nice enough to include a table comparing the live version of Animate Dead to the potential future version of Animate Dead. If you take a look at this example I've highlighted here, that's a player taking a 1000 damage hit using Animate Dead and a protection prayer with a magic tank armor setup. Currently, you'd be taking 185 damage, and after the update, you'd be taking 255 damage. Now, do not be mistaken, that's no small nerf. That's an increase in damage of 38%. That's massive, but even after the nerf, Animate Dead is going to contribute to a significant amount of damage reduction, still making it a very useful spell, while maybe not as OP. The 500 damage example is a difference of almost 240%. So the smaller the hit is, the less broken Animate Dead is going to be. So for Slayer, some AFK methods may suffer, while for bossing you're going to notice it a little bit less. Although that being said, AFK bossing methods such as Carapack and Hellwear may also be affected quite heavily. This change to me seems reasonable as Animate Dead is still going to be useful, albeit a little bit less effective. One thing also worth noting is that Mod Sponge seems to be trying to avoid adding Animate Dead to ranged and melee, for the fear of stalls becoming too samey. Next up on the balancing table is the FSOA. According to Jagex, the FSOA was hitting the ceiling in terms of damage output, and to make future magic upgrades interesting, they needed to adjust it. With the special attack being so reliant on critical hits, Jagex was limited in adding crit buffing items into the game for the fear of it making the FSOA break the damage barrier, so to speak. Additionally, the rune cost for every auto attack that was being fired off during the special attack for each crit was awful, as you might have experienced as a fellow crit stick enjoyer, because you literally just eat through runes when using this stick. The big change is that the FSOA will no longer fire off auto attacks during its special attack and instead fire off regular ability hits, which deal 60 to 120% ability damage per hit, so an average of 90%. And yes, this damage can be increased just like every other standard ability, including the damage boost from Sunshine, as confirmed by Mod Sponge. Now, I'm no spreadsheet warrior, but as you can see on the clip on screen, auto attacks seem to be dealing far more damage than an ability that would be dealing similar damage on average like Sonic Wave is dealing, or a max hit rack, which is 94% ability damage. So it does seem like this is going to be a damage nerf to the FSOA, although I'll leave it to actual testing post-update and the spreadsheet warriors to come up with exact numbers. Now remember that these values are subject to change for both the FSOA and Animate Dead, but you're able to give feedback on the Reddit post I'll link in the description below. In a recent livestream, Modhuli mentions that Jagex is planning to communicate better in addition to gathering more player feedback for future updates and balancing changes, much like today's Reddit post around the FSOA and Animate Dead changes. He even briefly mentions the possibility of in-game polls coming back to the game.
This is not a single move of us taking a more direct involvement to bring your voice into what we're doing. And in the near future, we're actually going to have another couple of opportunities to get your feedback and that's going to be something we're going to try and continue as much as possible going forward. We're even talking about using the in-game poll, which I know is important to many of you, and something that we haven't done for a while.
These plans don't seem to be empty promises, as Jagex is acting on this new plan straight away. Tomorrow, so on Friday, we will be getting information on comp and trim adjustments, which we'll be able to give feedback on, and we'll have the opportunity to report bugs and peeves in a community hit list. The mod will then take the most commonly mentioned issues that fit within a Ninja Strike scope and turn it into an actual community-based Ninja Strike that will release within a few months.
What we're going to do is we're going to post an opportunity for everyone to give their thoughts on the top of mind bugs and tweaks you would like to see addressed. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that, we're going to see the most common suggestions, the things you care about the most, and we're going to prioritize those and get them into a strike in the coming months.
As you may already know, there's a new upcoming quest called Murder on the Border releasing on March the 20th. From the information we received in a recent RuneScape livestream and post, it seems that it's not going to be an easily spacebarable quest, much like the One Piercing Note quest, as you're going to need to figure out which NPCs to blame. Basically, you're going to need to use some more brain power, or just wait for a guide, of course. We also got a visual preview of one of the quest rewards being an expansion to an existing building in the fort, being the town hall, called the kitchen. Tier 1 requiring level 30 construction gives you access to the kitchen itself and will allow you to cut cobweb barriers without failure. Tier 2 requiring level 55 construction provides you with a minus 3% chance to burn food, which will be useful on your way to level 99 cooking, as the skill cape allows you to never burn food again. Tier 3 will give you 5% increased cooking experience and access to a soup station for player import soups. So in short, this is going to be some quality of life and the best place to be training cooking due to the experience buff when using a portable range. With that being said, we've come to the end of this news video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.